Ohio. The Bearcats are back at home for the first time in more than 2.5 weeks as they start a 3-match homestand tonight against the Oklahoma Sooners. Checking in at the Big 12 standings before we get this one started tonight. Texas continues their reign atop the Big 12 for the 7th consecutive year. They are regular season champions. Cincinnati and Oklahoma trying to rise up and finish better than where they were picked in the preseason. Welcome courtside. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Anthony Mazzini here alongside Stephanie Niemer and Melissa Lucky. These are two teams something has to give tonight. Both have been scuffling a little bit over the last couple of matches, but both have played very tough schedules lately and both going through varying levels of transition.
Right, Cincinnati is coming off of 2 tough road trip matches against BYU and Texas. Those teams are top 15 teams, but that's an opportunity to play teams like that. You only have a chance to get better.
Right, Oklahoma is bringing in a new coaching staff, new system. Takes about a year to get everything in place.
Well, Alexa Shelton has taken a liking to the new system. She had a 30-kill match earlier this season against Notre Dame, Melissa.
Yeah, she's got a live arm. She's an explosive jumper, dynamic athlete from the front row and the back row. She's 3rd in the Big 12 with over 4 kills per set. Stephanie
will stick to the outside hitters. Carly Glendenning has taken on a big role for this Cincinnati offense.
She has. Coach Alvey has been very happy with the way that Glendenning has been stepping up. Against Texas, she had a great kill percentage efficiency, and she's bringing that stability the Bearcats need in the outside hitter position.
Carly Glendenning is coached by Molly Alvey, who is in her 12th season with the Bearcats. She expects a lot of triple blocks from Oklahoma today to try to slow down those pin hitters for the Bearcats. Meanwhile, Aaron Mansfield, we just talked about him, his first year with the Sooners, coming over from Loyola Marymount, where he spent 6 years and took Loyola Marymount to 2 NCAA tournaments. Aaron Mansfield, a former men's national team player after playing at UC Santa Barbara. Very accomplished head coach. We're underway. Julie Whittakin on the serve. And on the slide, Carrington gets the first kill for Oklahoma.
And in our coach's call right before this match, Coach Alvey had said this is going to be a serve and a pass game. And Oklahoma did just that. They started off with a great pass. They were able to run their middle and transition into a point.
Kelsey Carrington with the kill to get the scoring started tonight. And Kimaha on the serve for the Sooners. Left through the set, there's Glendenning. We just talked about her. That's a tough pass, and Chamberlain could not get it over. The Bearcats send it back.
Yeah, nice job by Zeta Washington. Staying tight to the net. That little bit of overpass, was able to put it back down on the floor. Tie this match.
Melissa, you're going to see a lot of that, though, from Oklahoma. That wasn't the best pass, but you're going to see a lot of sets right at the net as the attackers try to slam it off the block.
Yeah, Coach Mansfield really talked about the system that they're trying to bring in. It's going to take a year to develop it, but he did not. He had so many good things to say about their setter, Chamberlain. They like to run a real quick, fast tempo. If it is out of system, they like to set the ball tight. But Chamberlain can set a quick tempo ball no matter where she is on the floor.
There's Shelton trying that little roll shot, and that's not her specialty. She sends it into the net, and the Bearcats lead 3-1. Just the second all-time meeting between these two, and the first since 2011. And Cincinnati picked up a ranked win against Oklahoma, who was number 17 in the country at the time.
Sorry, Anthony, but Cincinnati is seeming to target Taylor Preston in serve receive. In the last couple of matches, she was not playing 6 rotations, so I think that's something that the Bearcats had started noticing that, and they're targeting her.
Well, it's been Glendenning on the serve, and the Bearcats have rattled off 4 points in a row. Aaron Mansfield did tell us that Taylor Preston, who, by the way, is a local product from just across the river in Kentucky, that she will play 6 rotations. There is Burtz smacking it down, the transfer from Liberty.
Yeah, Burtz also has played some right side this season. She's a dynamic attacker, and she also takes up a lot of space with her block.
2-time All-Conference in the ASUN Conference, All-Conference first team last year. That's an ace. And we've talked about the serve and pass. The Bearcats have done well. Now the Sooners starting to find their footing on the serve.
Right, Oklahoma giving it right back, putting that pressure on Cincinnati's serve receive.
That goes to Chamberlain. That is her 17th of the year. Alcantara taps it over. Shelton falling away, gets it around the antenna. Out of the middle, Washington smacks it up. Kimaha is there. Washington again. And this one a little bit long. Point for the Sooners.
Yeah, good swing by Washington. I really like, she's really come along this year. She mixes up her shot. She tips some. She can hit across her body toward the setter. She can hit the other way. But her ball is set just a little bit higher, so it takes the opponent, their block, a little bit into the match to adjust to a little bit higher set.
Alcantara's denied off the top of her head and kept alive. Chamberlain the set, out of the middle, Burtz somehow gets that point on a miscommunication, I think, with that set from Chamberlain.
Yeah, that ball was set. It wasn't a true one right at the setter. It was more a little bit over into the 3 zone. And that's what Coach Mansfield talked about today with us, is this new system he's bringing in. He wants them to be aggressive from the service line, from the attack, as an attacker, as passers. So sometimes he said it looks a little bit reckless at times, but he's trying to instill this aggressive behavior into his team.
Washington's serve is long.
Okay, both of these teams do take pride in their serving and being aggressive when they serve, but sometimes with that high risk, high reward, on that one it just didn't pan out for the Bearcats on that jump spin by Washington.
Both teams middle of the pack in aces per set coming into this match. Smacked over by Preston. Alcantara with a rip.
Nice swing by Alcantara. It's a great set by Caitlin Leffler. Nice quick tempo set to the outside. Really didn't give time for the block to completely close, and she hammered that ball down the line.
We talked about the transitions that Cincinnati has had to go through this season. First year in the Big 12, tough schedule. They've also been without their top 2 attacking players for the majority of the season. Shea Eggleston has been out since early September. Jaden Boss has been out since mid-September. So we talked about Glendenning at the start. Stephanie Alcantara has also had to take on a big role.
She has, and I think she has gotten better week by week. She's getting more comfortable in that starting position, and with that swing alone, she's swinging with confidence.
Another kill. Alcantara starting this match hot today.
It seems like Cincinnati has changed up their serve receive pattern a little bit. They might be going to more of a 2-man serve receive. 2 main passers back there. They're kind of pulling Alcantara up toward the net. They're taking Glendenning out. Let's see if that's a little bit of a change here today for Cincinnati. Let's see if it's successful.
Abby Walker, one of her first swings. Long set, Preston off the block. Kimaha keeps it alive. From the back, and Shelton with the kill. Erin Mansfield told us they send her all over, left side, right side, back row, and successful at any spot.
And that's what you want from an outside hitter. You want them to play 6 rotations. You want them to be an offensive option out of the back row.
Had a 30-kill match against Notre Dame. How impressive is 30 kills in a single match?
That is impressive. I mean, she's averaging 6 kills a set if it even goes 5. But that's what happens when you play 6 rotations. You get more opportunities to score.
Now, the worst part about that match for Shelton is the team lost to Notre Dame as part of the Irish Invitational. They beat Illinois but lost to the Fighting Irish. There's some good wins on this Oklahoma resume, and you can say the same thing about Cincinnati as well. Just the season in general have not gone their way. And we talked about the transition for both teams playing a big reason why.
That's one of the blessings about playing in the Big 12 is that you're playing great teams throughout the conference, and you do get opportunities to sneak in wins against ranked teams.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron as the season goes along. Molly Alvey said that on our call earlier this week. Any given week, you're playing a top 25 team in the Big 12. Oklahoma with the kill there to tie this match at 9. And you get a good look at Taylor Preston from Union, Kentucky. Walker the set, and the kill right off the block.
Yeah, Coach Mansfield was really worried. She was the first Cincinnati player that he talked about this morning, and she is traditionally a middle blocker and had to move over to the right side because of the injuries that have happened this season for the Bearcats. But Coach Mansfield is really worried about Abby and if they're going to be able to stop her, because she can do basically anything she wants with the ball.
Well, Shelton did not get all of that one right off the fingertips, but it surprises the Bearcats and falls in front of Walker for the kill.
Those types of kills, for some reason, they always score. I think it catches everyone off guard because it's the paintbrush. It just barely gets the bottom end of the ball, and it ends up just whiffing right in the middle of the court for a point.
The element of surprise. Glendenning. That is blocked at first. Chamberlain with the solo there, kept alive. And Shelton with the rip. Kayla Hostetler, the freshman, punches it up. Tight set, Chamberlain to Shelton, cross court, and it's in.
That was a good scramble by both sides, making some good digs. Shelton was able to put that ball away off a fast set there by Chamberlain.
And that sharp angle you always talk about, Melissa.
Yeah, that's really the hardest angle to hit, and Skrawback didn't know where to go defensively because there was a huge split in the block, and she went up to take that split, and Shelton hit it thumb down to that zone 4 angle.
Now Zeta Washington powers that one through the block. Second kill of the match for the freshman Zeta Washington, Cincinnati's highest rated recruit in program history, and has made quite the impact on this program in her first year. Shelton, done a dig by Whittakin.
That was a great dig by Whittakin. That was a hard swing down the line by Shelton.
Out of the middle for Burtz this time.
Zeta washing this back. Whittakin is right under that ball, and that was hit with some power with how high that ball went up in the air off of her platform.
Yeah, Whittakin did a good job of when you're taught as a defensive player, no matter if you're in the right position or not, you have to stop when that attacker goes up to hit, because if you're moving, you're not going to dig a ball. But she got down low, she got that ball up. Great defensive effort by Whittakin.
And Alcantara sends it down for the Bearcats, her third kill already. Kimaha the receive. Chamberlain the quick set for Burtz again. Running a lot through the middles for the Sooners. Alcantara the tap. Shelton gets under it. Off the top of the net. Another one of those surprise shots there, Stephanie. That one hits the top of the net.
That one hit the top of the net, and Glendenning was playing real deep on that end line. And that ball just fell short and middle back.
So you want her up a little bit more in that situation?
Typically you want your player in zone 6 to be getting all those deep balls, but that one, when it hits the net, I think it is a diggable ball, able to run through that since the tape cut some speed off of that ball. But she is playing where zone 6 should be playing.
Another kill for the Bearcats. Alcantara has been really good. Already 4 kills in this first set.
And as to be expected, we're tied 13-13.
Leffler on the serve, the setter for the Bearcats, 8th in the conference in assists per set entering the match. Skrawback jumps over Leffler to keep that alive. Leffler just unfortunate, got in the way there, and Cincinnati was back on their heels. The kill for the Sooners. Kind of forecast that one with the Bearcats tripping over one another, that their defense wasn't set.
Yeah, that was a scramble play there with Leffler taking that first ball and kind of just stuck in the middle of the court where Skrawback has to come in and try to get that second ball.
Riley Fay just checked in for the Sooners, one of a few setters that has played over the course of the season for Oklahoma, but Chamberlain the lead setter. Fay the transfer from New Mexico State and Missouri State on her third school. Quick set, Walker taps it. Preston blocks. Walker and Williams combined for the block.
That's one of those risks when you set a ball tight to the net. If you try to swing away at it, that block is right there. It's going to come straight down. If it's a tight ball like that, that needs to be wiped off the block to have more control as an attacker.
And that's part of the new system that the new coaching staff's bringing in. Is Coach Mansfield talked about that they set a lot of tight balls And they're trying to teach their kids, just like Stephanie said, to use the block, wipe it off the block. But you will see Oklahoma set a lot of balls tight on the net.
That's tipped over by Kelsey Carrington. And at the first break of the match, the Bearcats trailing 15-14 against the Sooners.
Tonight's series history is
as of right now, the Big 12, 5 teams ranked in the top 25. And even outside of those top 5 teams ranked, you could be looking at 6, maybe 7 teams getting NCAA tournament bids just with the strength of the Big 12 this season.
And that's what you would want to see from a conference like the Big 12. And historically, they have had those numbers in the tournament, as has the Big 10. Sometimes we get down to the Sweet 16, and half of those teams are the Big 10 or the Big 12.
What was it, last year or 2 years ago? I think Wisconsin and Nebraska were 2 of the Final 4 teams standing.
Right, you end up just playing your in-conference schedule in the postseason.
Pac-12 has had some representation over the years. ACC has come a long way as well.
Yeah, a couple years ago, you had 2 Big 10 schools and 2 ACC schools.
Abby Walker with that kill. 2 points in a row for the Bearcats out of the media timeout. Thompson cannot handle the serve. Carly Strawback with the ace.
I think we're going to see a lot of ace to error tonight. We've seen a lot of aces so far, and it's just the first set.
3 aces for Cincinnati, 1 for Oklahoma. We've also seen 4 service errors. No error there. Actually, there is. Carrington misses wide. Couldn't keep it in. That looked like a shoe-in to find the line.
That was a nice run by Carrington on the short slide behind Chamberlain, but she just cut it a little bit wide.
Now Kelsey Carrington, the attack error there. And a timeout for the Sooners. Well, Oklahoma this season, we've talked about the transition. New head coach. With that comes some roster turnover. They lost 2 big ones. And Megan Wilson went to Kentucky after being an All-Big 12 selection last year. Morgan Perkins, just a freshman, a ton of blocks. She went to Texas A&M, and you can tell when they transfer to those 2 schools, those are 2 very good players.
Happy birthday, and thanks for spending your special day.
But they did reload. You bring in Burtz from Liberty, Ellison from Texas State, Riley Fay from New Mexico State. So you lost a lot, but you bring in some really good players.
I was just going to say that right before the impact transfers that come in. Like when you lose due to transferring, you will get it on the flip side through the portal.
Yeah, it's really hard to replace that production, though, when you lose 2 key players like that and transferring into major conferences.
I mean, you're talking Kentucky and Texas A&M. SEC for both of them. Kentucky won the national championship a couple of years ago. That's a big loss. Perkins and Wilson, 2 very talented players, and now performing well at their other schools.
It's a unique time for just college athletics with the impact of the transfer portal. It wasn't like this 10 years ago, but now we're seeing it in all sports. Transfers are happening for every program.
You're almost recruiting the transfer portal. It used to be you're recruiting freshmen. Now you're recruiting the transfers.
And then you also have to continue to recruit your current players.
Correct.
Like you've got to make sure that you're recruiting them as well.
Yeah, you don't want them to leave. That's a good point. That's a big swing for Preston, who is the Robin to Shelton, if you will, the Batman and Robin dynamic. Shelton gets most of the swings, but Preston's that good opposite, and the kill there.
Yep, here we go, Cincinnati with a 2-man serve receive again.
And it's Strawback to poke it up.
So with this 2-person serve receive, what I've noticed tonight is Strawback is taking a lot more court. She is diving in front of that other player that she's passing next to, and in this case it's Hostetler, but she's taking a lot more responsibility back there, which I think is what they need from her.
Which has been a transformation over the course of the season. She's a transfer from Marquette. She started her career at Tennessee Tech. She's number 14 in white for Cincinnati. That's a big swing for Washington. But it took Strawback a little while to feel comfortable where her teammates are, where she should be on the court, just feeling things out as that transfer.
Yeah, I really think, and I know I've hit on that on previous broadcasts, and you can just see as the season went on, she just got more and more comfortable with her role on this Bearcat team, and she is keeping these Bearcats in matches with her defense.
Now Carly Glendenning starting this match hot. That's her 3rd kill. You have 3 Bearcats right now with 3 or more kills.
So Cincinnati's really starting to come alive here in the end of this first set, which is exactly what you want to see. They're really transitioning and converting those digs into kills.
That's an error for Shelton. That's the biggest issue right now for Oklahoma. They have the system in place. Aaron Mansfield saying they're just not efficient enough. They're not technical enough yet to play at the system pace that he wants to play.
Right. He wants them to be aggressive, so he's not, you know, they're doing some good things, and they make sure they hit on that during film, that they are really, really doing some good things. And, you know, he's teaching them to be aggressive, and it will come. But, you know, it's going to be high risk, high error.
Yeah, he said losing is hard. 9-15 on the season, 2-12 in the Big 12. Hasn't been the season he envisioned, hasn't been the season Oklahoma as a team envisioned. But he said, you watch us in game 1, you watch us now. There have been major improvements as Shelton tools that one off the block.
I like his mentality towards that. Yes, losing is hard. But being in a conference like this, you get to play against great competition. So you're getting better every time you step on the court, whether it's at practice, whether it's in a match. So I really like the way he's looking at it. He doesn't really get down on the fact that they've lost quite a bit this year. He just looks at it as matter of fact, and we got to take what we've been getting and just roll with it.
Well, Aaron Mansfield, just 9-15 coming into this match in his first year at Oklahoma. Played and trained with the U.S. national team and an All-American at libero at UC Santa Barbara. And he left there as the all-time digs leader in program history. And it's interesting because you would think for a defensive-minded coach, he would preach defense, defense, defense. But when we talked to him, it was all about serve and the offensive pace. It's interesting how he has the defensive background, but he wants to build an offensive system.
Yeah, he really hit on that. They are doing some different things. He brought a different system in here. You can see a lot of times when the opponent's outside hitter swings, they have a triple block up, and they're also what I call kind of a man-up defense. So you've got 2 defensive players deep in the court, and you've got one that comes up behind the block for that tip that most of the time is open against other teams, but against Oklahoma, they plant somebody right in the middle there to take that tip. And so, you know, we're going to see how Cincinnati adjusts to a little bit different system that Oklahoma runs versus some other teams they played.
Aaron Mansfield did say that they're going to feel it out a little bit. We haven't seen a ton of those triple blocks yet. He wanted to see how Cincinnati would come out, and they're going to make adjustments from there. So maybe in these second and third sets and beyond, if we need them tonight, we're going to see more of that triple block.
And it's definitely something that we see more out of system. So if there's a high ball to the outside, that's when they're going to triple block. And I think so far tonight we haven't seen many of them, if any.
No, it's been pretty clean. On the slide, Burks off the block and out. And Lydia Burks gets another kill.
Lydia Burks, number 22 on the right side, turned in the kill.
The sneaky pancake.
Yeah, great defensive effort by Sydney Thompson, getting that pancake up.
Don't you love it, Stephanie, when your defense keeps a play alive and you get a kill because of it?
Oh, I love that, but I absolutely hate it if I'm an attacker and someone gets my really crafty tip up by slipping a hand under there. There's nothing more frustrating because you think that ball's hitting the ground, and then they just sneak their hand right under it.
Well, if you can get one of those paintbrush kills every now and then you got to respect a good dig and a good pancake, too.
I think I'm just salty because I could never master the pancake.
Salty pancakes, huh? That doesn't sound very good.
No, I actually am very good with making pancakes in the kitchen, just not on the court.
Hey, if you're going to say something like that, you got to prove it. A one-point match as we get close to the end of this first set. Oklahoma's made a bit of a run here. They've scored 5 consecutive points on Kimaha's serve. Glendenning tries to end it here, and Kimawa awaits. Preston from the back is denied. Zeta Washington with the block.
Great job, Zeta Washington. We were just talking about that triple block. There was a triple block on that one. Back row attack, Zeta Washington timed it perfectly for that step block.
It's a solo. You talk about those all the time, Stephanie. Your favorite.
Those are my favorite, especially when you block one from the back row because you're all there by yourself. They have the whole court to see. For you to get that one solo, impressive.
Shelton hits this line. This was a big rip.
Yeah, wow, that was a big rip. That ball was set inside a little bit. You thought she was going to go cross court. She came across her body, hammered that ball down the line. Her 5th kill this match.
Looks like she added a little cut to that one as she sent it line, but now backs against the wall for the Sooners. The serve into the net, and the Bearcats at set point.
And I know you want to be aggressive from the service line, but when it's a tight match like this, it was, you know, you're going back to serve, you're down 1. You miss a serve, you give the other team set point. You know, there's a happy medium.
Well, it is a good serve from Harrison. Preston couldn't quite handle it. Ellison sends it over. Alcantara has had a great first set. That one popped up. Chamberlain to Burks. It's into the net. And Cincinnati takes set 1 against Oklahoma. 25-22, the final score in set 1. In a very tightly contested first set, neither team really gained much separation. And it is Cincinnati coming away victorious on the back of 4 kills from Alyssa Alcantara. Alyssa Alcantara, a very good first set for the Bearcats. 4 kills and hit an efficient 500.
Yeah, she's starting off pretty hot for the Bearcats, and they do expect her to have good matches because she gets a good amount of sets, but she is really starting off strong with no errors in that first set.
4 kills for Alcantara, second only to Alexis Shelton, who had 6 for the Sooners. Now, we've talked about serving aggressively, a combined 5 aces, Melissa, in that first set.
Yeah, it all starts with the serve and pass game. That's what every coach says. You know, it's a broken record. But that first contact is so important to be able to stay in system. And 5 aces between the 2 teams this first set.
Now the 2 differences there, the blocks and the hitting percentage, both significantly favoring Cincinnati, leading to the 25-22 first set victory. Now this is the first game of 2 in a row between the Bearcats and the Sooners. Tomorrow is Senior Day, and the Bearcats will honor 3 seniors. Alyssa Alcantara, Jaden Boss, and Carly Skrabak. All 3 have played significant roles for Cincinnati this season. Boss is the unfortunate one. She was off to a scorching start. 4 kills per set, almost 3 digs per set, but lost to a leg injury against UCF in the first series of Big 12 play.
Yeah, Jaden Boss, we were fortunate to see her first 4 years. She was in the American at SMU, and she really took on a different role here in Cincinnati. She was more of a role player for SMU. Here at Cincinnati, she became the focal point of this team. She was vocal leader, 6 rotation player. It's just heartbreaking, you know, to see her go down.
And it's a big loss for the team. You obviously focus on the player, hope she's okay. From a team perspective, you combine that with the loss of Shea Eggleston, who has been out since beginning of September. Those are your 2 top offensive options on the outsides. That's tough to overcome.
It is, and I think the coaching staff for Cincinnati has done a tremendous job of keeping this team going. You lose your 2 best players, both 6 rotation players, your captains on the floor. Insert Carly Glendenning, Alcantara. You can see those 2 players, they're young, even though Alcantara is a senior, but you can just see the confidence of those 2 just building as this season goes on.
2-0 Bearcats early in set 2. It really is admirable what Cincinnati has done since those 2 injuries. They kind of had to regroup on the fly against UCF when that Boss injury happened. But then you go on the road, you beat Kansas State. The Wildcats have beaten Texas, the only team that's beaten Texas this year. TCU, you go on the road and beat TCU. You've beaten West Virginia on the road. You've beaten Texas Tech in 3 sets, a sweep. Considering the losses, considering first season of the Big 12, Cincinnati has performed admirably.
They have, and they've been resilient, and injuries are no secret to any sport, but sometimes you get hit harder than other years, but this has been a tough year in terms of injuries for the Bearcats, and they have bounced back and made this roster work.
Now, both teams have played grueling schedules lately. Houston was the last team to face Oklahoma, the number 22 team in the country. Cincinnati has played Texas, Houston, and BYU all consecutively.
And I think that the person that kept this team going is Strawback, you know, or the other senior they're going to honor tomorrow. She kept this team going defensively. She was getting hands on every ball. Balls that you thought were going to hit the floor, and she was able to get hands on them. And I think she just really is the glue to this team.
Alcantara tries to push. Whittakin tracks it down. Here is the senior Strawback, the transfer from Marquette. Over Burtz, and Shelton tools it off the block. You mentioned Strawback, Melissa, how she's kept this team alive in a lot of these matches. And Stephanie, you talk a lot about her digs as well. You look at the numbers earlier this season, Cincinnati was a big offensive team. I think going into conference play, they were top 3 in attack percentage, kills per set. They've had to shift that. It's now become more of a defensive mentality where they're top 5 in the conference in digs per set. The blocking has improved this year, and a lot of that's because of Carly Strawback.
Exactly, and an impact just from losing 2 offensive options. She has been very impressive this year, defensively, and even now in serve receive. She's just taking more court. She's a real leader on the court for the Bearcats.
2 offensive options, and we should say they're both 6 rotation players too, with Eggleston and Boss. So that also impacts the defense.
Right, yeah, she's done a really good, just fabulous job. You know, I talked about it the first tournament, opening tournament, and I think she just didn't know where she fit in, what, you know, new system, new teammates, and I think they actually call her grandma. But she has fit that role. She's taken that leadership, and she's just really guiding this team. And the team is playing better now because of Strawback.
Yeah, early in the season, teams were serving Strawback, and now it's getting to the point where it's probably the one person you don't want to serve to. 5-3 Bearcats early in set 2. Anthony Mazzini, Melissa Lucky, Stephanie Niemer with you. First of 2 between the Bearcats and Sooners this weekend. That's smacked down by Burtz, that joust, and she smacks it over Leffler.
Say a little different look for Oklahoma. Taylor Preston, the first set was playing 6 rotations. Started the second set, they're having her substitute out in the back row, and she will sub back in to be a front row attacker.
There are the numbers on Strawback, the player we were just talking about, approaching 2,000 digs in her career. May not get there with just 4 regular season matches remaining, but putting a cap on a very good career that started at Tennessee Tech. Alyssa Alcantara with another kill. That's her first of set 2.
Yeah, in practice, they've really been working with Carly and Glendenning, Alyssa Alcantara on developing more shots. Hit high hands, hit around the block. That time she was able to hit through the middle blocker for that kill.
Ellison, good dive from Glendenning, who has really picked up the digs as the season has gone along. And the point there for Oklahoma, ball handling or net violation, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, Glendenning got under that ball. The dig was just a little too tight to the net for Leffler to get 2 hands on it to set, and trying to get that with one hand. That was called by the up official.
Yeah, and it's tough for a setter when she's coming from the back row, because as a setter coming from the back row, you can't jump and attack that ball over the net. So that ball was just too tight. She couldn't get it, keep it on her side.
That's a net violation for Oklahoma. So they trade violations and they trade points. Kayla Hostetler, the freshman, serving for the Bearcats from Hebron, Kentucky.
Say Hostetler and Taylor Preston would have played against each other in high school a couple years ago. They're high school rivals. Hostetler going to Notre Dame Academy and Preston going to St. Henry.
LaGia Williams off the net and down for the kill for the Bearcats. And yeah, only separated by 1 year as well.
That's right.
So they would have overlapped. Rumor has it we have a fellow St. Henry alum.
We do.
Stephanie Niemer from across the river played over in Kentucky, played at Cincinnati, was an All-American with the Bearcats before playing professionally.
Cincinnati in the second set.
So the one cool thing with Preston coming in with Oklahoma this weekend is she's got a lot of family and friends in the area. So tonight, I think they were expecting 60 to 70 just for her alone.
It's quite the figure. Glendenning, good rip, and what a dive by Kimaha. Out of the back, there's Shelton again.
Kimaha has really had some great digs for the Sooners tonight.
And so is Chamberlain. Glendenning the tap this time. Here's Preston, running start. Better block, Legia Williams.
Another one of those tight balls to the net, and Legia Williams had her hands pressed over and was dominating.
Now Preston there, number 23 in gray, gets denied, but the local kid has had a good match so far. The Sooners, though, trailing by 1 set and trailing by 5 points in this set as well. And one of the players that decided to stick around, both her and Shelton, and both have had a very, very good season. But Preston, the local kid from Union, Kentucky, just across the river. Out of the timeout, they go to Ellison, one of the transfers, and she gets the kill.
Yeah, nice swing by Ellison, cross court. Ball was set tight. She was able to rip it cross court for her second kill of this match.
Stephanie, I know you stayed a little bit closer to home playing at St. Henry and then coming to Cincinnati. But for Preston, playing close to Cincinnati, deciding to go to Oklahoma, now coming back, just what are those emotions when you're playing in front of so many family and friends?
I think it's very exciting. You get to spend some time with family and friends after the match, a little bit. Probably not so much tonight because there's some time to watch film and whatnot. But I think also with this, there is a little bit of pressure because she's now playing in front of so many friends and family that don't get to see her as much as they did in high school. So there is some pressure. I think tonight there might be a little bit of butterflies for her. But I remember watching them play Houston. Coach Mansfield said that her work ethic is second to none. She's the type of player you want to have in the court, and her potential is limitless for them. So it'll be really exciting to see how she progresses.
Think you sleep in the childhood home tonight before you head back to Oklahoma?
I don't know how that works. Some programs are stricter than others, but she will definitely get some family time this weekend, I'm sure.
Wake up in the morning, mom and dad have breakfast waiting for you, just like the old days.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That one's off of Sydney Thompson and out.
Off the big swing on the right side and the side out.
Point for the Bearcats.
The kill, Abby Walker will serve, number 24.
Here's Abby Walker's serve. Chamberlain, long set, and put away by Shelton.
That's one of the benefits of Oklahoma running that fast tempo ball. You're doing that to try to beat the block, and it's very difficult for the middle blocker in system to read that set and close.
And she set that ball. She was all the way over on the right side of the court and set that ball, like quick tempo, perfect set to the outside to Shelton.
And that's one of the things, Melissa, Aaron Mansfield told us the location is always so good for Chamberlain, and she allows them to play fast. Of all the things that haven't gone right with his new system, Chamberlain has been the bright spot. He said that we couldn't play the system that we play if not for Chamberlain.
Yeah, because their first contact, they struggle off serve receive, they struggle off defense a little bit, but she does a tremendous job. No matter where she is on the floor, she puts that ball in the right position for her attackers.
Speaking of setters, Caitlin Leffler dumps that one down for the Bearcats. Leffler has 13 double-doubles this year, and with a good end of the season, she might get to 2,000 career assists.
Yeah, I really like what Leffler's doing this evening. She's spreading the ball around. Cincinnati, so far, midway through this second set, has got a really well-balanced attack. They keep the opponent's block guessing. They're not keying on just one person.
It's a very diverse attack. Alcantara, the outside hitter with 5, the middle, Zeta Washington with 5, Glendenning with 4, Walker the right side with 3. A little bit for everyone. That's off the block and down. Shelton the kill.
Yeah, Shelton again. That ball was set a little tight. She was able to use high hands. Zeta Washington, no, actually went off Leffler's hands, hit high hands. Their 9th kill of this match.
Alcantara, the running start. Kimaha could not keep that one alive. Kill for Alcantara again.
That was a good out-of-system swing by Alcantara. That ball was coming from a little bit over her shoulder, and she was able to just take her momentum into that swing.
And I think that's where she's come a long way. Is Alcantara was always a good attacker when she was in system, but she used to struggle with that out-of-system, a little bit higher ball. And they've done a tremendous job in practice of just building that confidence, and she's doing a great job, whether in system or out of system.
Well, the Bearcats are buzzing around right now. Glendenning just ran into a chair. Harrison tracks this one down in front of the first row, but just a very tight angle for Alcantara. There's one of those out-of-system balls, but that one's really not her fault.
But she did a really good job of almost, you know, keeping that ball in play. That may go down as an attack error for Alcantara, you know, but that's something that she tried her best to keep that in. That was a really tough angle to try to keep it inside the antenna.
I imagine, Stephanie, those are some of the tougher pills to swallow, but then you go right back like that after the attack error that really wasn't your fault.
I was going to say, watch even Alcantara, the way that she plays, like if she makes a couple errors, she doesn't let that sit and like on her face. Some players, you can see it on their face, they just get down on themselves, but she has that mentality, like on to the next one, and that was a great swing by her after bouncing back from that ball that was almost in the chair.
Speaking of good swings, there's Lydia Burtz.
Yeah, Burtz, it makes all the difference in middle blockers with the timing. When you have that first contact on point to the setter, she's able to set that nice quick tempo to Burtz and hammers that for a 6th kill this match.
We talked about the scoring diversity for Cincinnati. It's been the opposite for Oklahoma. Shelton, high volume, already more than 20 swings in this match. She has 10 kills. Burt's the next closest with 6. And now Alcantara taking the Cincinnati team lead. That's her 8th.
Another left side kill, another
Kind of creeping up there with some Shelton stats. That would be the 8th kill for Alcantara. Shelton's at 10. She's already averaging 5 kills, and the second set's not even over.
And that was a tremendous swing. She had a triple block up there. It was a perfect set outside to the pin, and she was able to hammer that ball down the line. That's where her game has come. She used to just be almost strictly a cross-court hitter, but she's really developed her shot. She's been hitting line, cross-court. She can tip. She keeps the other team's defense off balance.
Daly Ellison, the attack error there. Bearcats lead it by 6 in the second set.
Say a little more attack errors by Oklahoma, but that's something that Coach Mansfield said that's what they've been struggling with this season. They have moments where they're kind of not making the smartest swings, but being relatively a young team, that's something, they're growing pains that you just have to figure out through experience.
And he understands when you play the system that he wants to play, it's going to be high error, whether that be attacking or whether that be from the service line. He understands it, but he embraces it. The difference, though, he says we're not there yet because a lot of those errors are going to turn into good serves, or they're going to turn into kills. They're just not quite proficient nor efficient enough yet where you limit those numbers as much as he would like.
Right, because I think a lot of coaches are, and he's in the minority. A lot of coaches, you know, they say, they get back there and say, okay, keep this ball in, keep it in, keep it in. And he keeps, you know, pushing his team, pushing his ladies, stay aggressive, stay aggressive, stay aggressive. It's okay. You know, physical mistakes happen. I want you to be aggressive. Just keep, you know, keep back there ripping the serve, keep ripping an attack.
Which it's all in perspective, right? As we get a timeout here, Cincinnati takes the timeout with Oklahoma chipping in on a 3-0 run. It's all in perspective, right? I mean, if the national championship is tied 24 apiece in the 4th set, you're not going to serve as aggressively as you normally would. But middle of the second set, something along those lines, you still want to keep pushing for that aggressiveness.
Right. You know, this match is tight, 18-15. You do want to, you're not going to score, you know, if you don't keep the ball in the court. So I think, you know, a tight match like this, it's a 3-point game. You know, you get back there and you want to be aggressive, but you have to keep the ball in the court, especially when it's a tight match.
Well, a couple of Big 12 news and notes during this timeout. How about Houston sweeping Oklahoma twice? Head coach David Rayer earned his 100th victory. He is the fastest Big 12 coach in Houston history. I said that backwards. The fastest coach in Houston's history to get to 100 wins. TCU, the sweep of Baylor. And Iowa State splits the weekend against Kansas, who drops back to number 17 in the Big 12, or the conference national rankings this week. Because of those performances, the Big 12 Players of the Week. Nayeli Gonzalez has been often featured of that Rookie of the Week in the Big 12 for Iowa State. Kansas State always seems to pick up a win against a team that, you know, Kansas State picked to finish more in the middle of the pack, but they're picking up wins against some very good teams this year.
Right, they gave Texas their only loss and they swept them. So, and that's a team that Cincinnati had beaten on the road at Kansas State. So, this conference, it's just everybody has a chance.
Yeah, Kansas State is one of the most up and down teams. I think in the Big 12 this season, they picked up tremendous wins. But then you just kind of scratch your head on some of the matches that they have dropped.
I mean, in the Big 12 the last couple of years, beating Texas is an accomplishment by itself. Nice slide there by Carrington for that kill.
Yeah, that one-on-one opportunity. She does a great job off one foot, and one-on-one opportunity, use advantage to the offensive player.
It's now 4 points in a row for the Sooners. Make it 5 points in a row. Tapped down by Peyton Chamberlain.
And this is where your serve receive is very important. So you see Strawback pulled Glendenning back to make it a three-person serve receive. Change the look up a little bit.
Serving to Hostetler. Glendenning running start. Chamberlain tight set. Shelton finishes it off, and it's a 1 point second set.
That all starts with the pass. Cincinnati right now, their serve receive, that first contact struggling a little bit, allowing Oklahoma to get back in this match.
And it's Ireland McNeese who is on this scoring run right now from the service line. Leffler, back set. Walker taps it. Kimaha, the up. Shelton is denied. Another block. Zeta Washington gets her hands on another one.
And that's one of those, if you watch that last rally, Cincinnati was a little bit more tentative. They were taking some heat off the ball. Shelton just goes ahead and swings away. High risk, high reward. On that time, Cincinnati's block was just too much.
Carrington tries to get the point back. She's denied on the dig by Walker. And she sends the free ball over. Another try for Shelton, this time the tap. Shelton again, high volume attacker for the Sooners.
Yeah, she just goes up there aggressively and rips a ball. Doesn't matter if she gets blocked. Oklahoma does a really good job behind the block, covering, allows them to stay in the play, and that time she just tooled Caitlin Leffler for the kill in her 11th of this match.
I think we've seen more off-speed shots from Shelton tonight than we expected. Aaron Mansfield saying you're not going to see much tip, you're not going to see much roll, but just the way Cincinnati's defended her, she's been forced to readjust her shot at times.
And that's what makes an outside hitter good is, she's very aggressive, but she just finds a way to score, and she finds open spots on the floor, whether she's tooling a block, she's tipping, she just finds a way to score for her team.
And a timeout, we're tied at 20. Cincinnati led this second set 18-12. They have been outscored 8-2 over the last 10 points.
So the difference here is Cincinnati's been a little bit more tentative in their attack. Oklahoma has maintained their aggressive swinging, and that has really paid off for them.
Now, Alexis Shelton has been the offensive spark all season long. Third in the Big 12 in kills per set. Big 12 rookie team last year for Oklahoma. And she has 12 kills tonight. I mean, averaging 4 kills per set. Just a dominant player.
Right, and you can tell that she is super athletic. They're setting a faster ball. I mean, her fast twitch reaction to get up in the air to hit that ball, she is a tremendous athlete.
Aaron Mansfield called her a human highlight reel. I don't think we've seen that one big wow swing yet from her tonight. It's actually been the middles, whether it be Burtz or Carrington. They've had the more powerful swings, but the more consistent swings have come from Shelton. But I'm sure over the weekend she'll have something in the bag of tricks for us. Washington taps that. Kimaha fills the spot. But an attack error. I mentioned Burtz. Not one for the highlight reel there.
The set was a little bit low by Chamberlain to Burtz, but as a middle, you have to realize that. When you're off the net like that as a setter, it throws off the timing a little bit with your middle, and the set was a little bit low, but you have to know Burtz. She wanted to be aggressive, but you have to know that that ball is below the lip of the net and just keep the ball in bounds.
Good dive by Sydney Thompson to keep this point alive.
Great
almost ended.
Cover by Skrawback. That ball, that was one of those, you thought that block was going straight down, and she basically did the splits to keep that ball alive.
Oh, we just talked about how Shelton hadn't had that big, powerful kill yet, and she may have hurt us because this ball deflects all the way into the second row of seats, but there's that cover.
And that triple block that Oklahoma does in that out of system.
It's almost a full split.
Yeah, I really love how hard she works for her teammates.
I thought you were going to say on her splits. No cover there. She just couldn't get there in time. And the kill for Burtz again. Oklahoma now has the lead in the second set.
Yeah, it was a good pass. Loeffler, she just telegraphed it. She's got that middle blocker in Burtz right in front of her. You have, as a setter, you have to see that out of the corner of your eye. Use jump set, use it as a decoy and get that ball out to either pin to one of your hitters.
Oklahoma now leads it by 2. This would be quite the turnaround for the Sooners in this second set. And it has all started at the service line. McNeese had a good run, and now it's Chamberlain. Ellison off the block, and it is set point.
And when you're in the receiving position like Cincinnati is right now, you need to side out right away, because the more you give the other side confidence, the more aggressive they're going to serve, and that's exactly what's happening here.
Alcantara, very high set.
Smart shot by her, played it into the block, gave her team another chance.
And Washington takes advantage of it with the kill.
Yeah, what made Cincinnati successful the first set and a half is we talked about they were very well-balanced attack. Right now, they've kind of gone away from their middles a little bit. They need to keep Zeta Washington involved. They need to keep Abby Walker involved, but it all starts with the pass. They've really struggled with their serve receive, and so it's keeping them out of system.
A timeout on the floor in a 2-point second set. Coming up at the intermission.
I think, yeah, strategy by Mansfield here. We have Zeta Washington back to serve. This is what he would be trying to do, is ice the server.
Coming up at the intermission, an interview with Zeta Washington, who has been one of the stars for Cincinnati today. 6 kills, hitting .308. Highlights and stats coming up at the break. There's Zeta. Comes from a very athletic family, a lot of pro tennis in her background. Now, how do you get a pro tennis player turning into a volleyball player? Her mom was a swimmer, the dad played in the Wimbledon, and now you have volleyball. That doesn't seem to align.
So actually, I'd asked Coach Alvey on the coach's call the reason behind her number, because she's number 99.
Yep.
And her first sport was actually softball. And when she played softball, her number was 99, because that was the highest possible number she could pick. And then she realized she could be good at volleyball too. She picked 99, and she thought she wanted to have a number that people would remember her by it. Not a lot of players have number 99.
Imagine just saying, oh, I could be good at this too. Let me give it a try. Now, Shelton's pretty darn good for Oklahoma and caps off a comeback victory for the Sooners. They trailed 18-12 and they win it 25-22. Tied at 1 at the intermission. Shaping up to be a pretty good match in Cincinnati tonight.
How you guys doing, Bearcat fans? My name's Christian Ederson. I'm here with Zeta Washington. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. We're doing a new segment today called Beyond the Net. So my first question to you is, obviously you're one of the best volleyball players in the country. So why did you choose UC?
You know, I think there's a lot of factors that go into like the whole recruiting process. It's long and it's extensive, but I wanted to come to a program where I knew I could make a difference my freshman year. I wanted to make an impact, and the coaching staff was incredible. I think I've never met a coaching staff that meshed so well. They're all so different and have so much knowledge, and I think it really just works here.
Oh, she loves UC. She loves you.
Cincinnati led by 6. Oklahoma came back. It's been a lot of very tight points here in this match tonight.
This is a big weekend for both teams. They are both in the bottom half of the Big 12 as of today. I think both of these teams think that 2 wins would be huge for them. It would make the difference. And this is the point of the season where you want to be getting better. You want to be on an upward trajectory. So it is important this weekend for both Oklahoma and Cincinnati to win these matches.
And Molly Alvey did talk about that, how it solidifies the standings. Neither team, of course, is going to win the Big 12. Texas has already claimed that title for the 7th consecutive year. But you're trying to finish better than where you were picked. You're trying to finish in the middle of the Big 12, which, middle of the Big 12, you're going to get considered for an NCAA tournament. Even some teams that are sub 500 in the Big 12 are going to be getting consideration for an at-large berth.
Yeah, and even more important for Cincinnati is they're at home.
Yeah.
And you have to, especially conference of the Big 12, you have to win at home.
Now the first point goes to Oklahoma in set 3. The Sooners are just 2-7 on the road this season, which is a little bit odd because Cincinnati is actually better on the road than they have been at home this year. You would think it would be the other way around.
Cincinnati years when they were in the American, they were always very tough to beat here at home.
Chamberlain with a set and a bomb for Burtz.
Okay, we're seeing it live, but you can see the confidence is just growing for Oklahoma in this match.
Do you think that came from their defense, from their serve? Where did that stem from, do you think?
I think it just stems from being in system. When they're in system, they get really good swings.
Williams.
And I think they're serving really, you know, they've got a couple players on their team that do a really good job back there from the service line, and there are a couple of them that went on those scoring runs and really caused havoc on Cincinnati's side, and that you can just see in that second set, the confidence was just building and building. They were going to come back and win.
Abby Walker, that's off of Ireland McNeese and out. Well, McNeese is the one that had that big serving run earlier. Couldn't handle that attack and the kill for Walker.
That was a great swing by Walker to the deep corner.
Yeah, they need to keep Abby Walker involved. That's, you know, she was involved a lot in that first set, and she just kind of disappeared in that second set. They need to keep their passing on point and be able to keep all their hitters involved.
That was a little bit of matrix there by Skrawback. That ball was hit hard by Shelton, and she just dipped her neck. That ball went right past her neck and over her shoulder. Out of bounds.
I'd love to know the reaction time on something like that. You see the sports science stuff every now and then with baseball. How much time do you have to react to, like a 100-mile-an-hour fastball or something? I'd love to know the sports science. How much time do I have to duck my shoulder out of the way?
For some athletes, I think it's better than others. I mean, we see players get blown up in the face off of some attacks, and other ones, they react real quick and they're able to dodge out of the way.
We just talked about Abby Walker. You saw her accolades there, 2-time All-Conference in the American. Shelton putting together an All-Conference season for Oklahoma. But Walker for Cincinnati, it's been a unique year, that transition from middle to outside. And it seems like at times she gets forgotten about in this offense. You mention all the time, Melissa, you got to keep her involved. You got to keep her involved. She was such a focal in the middle with the slides, but now as the outside, she's just a different part of the offense.
Yeah, you've got to keep her involved like that. She's such a physically gifted player, and for her to be able to just step over from the middle, which is her natural position, to the right side, you know, has been phenomenal. But she does. I don't know if it's because of the passing or if it's because of, you know, something that the coaches, you know, may want. But Abby Walker needs to stay involved in this offense.
Stephanie, I know it didn't lead to a Cincinnati kill, but I know you were in awe of that dig again by Strawback a moment ago.
Yeah, I just get so disappointed when she gets these really great digs and then it doesn't convert into a point, because she, like I said, she keeps the rally alive for her team, and it's a shame sometimes when those great digs can't be converted.
Turned into a block assist for Shelton and Burtz. And the Sooners off to a good start in set 3. That's another point.
That was a great hustle by Chamberlain. That pass was way outside the court, but she always turns, no matter where the pass is, she turns that next contact into a better play, and she put that ball perfect for her attacker to be able to put that ball on the floor.
Washington has the answer out of the middle for Cincinnati, her 8th kill.
It's funny that you were talking earlier, Anthony, about how her dad was tennis, her mom was swimming, and then she plays volleyball. But I'd be curious to see, out of all Division I athletes, how many of their parents played a professional sport? Because when you watch some of the top 10 teams in the country, there is at least one player on every roster where the dad played in the NBA or the mom was a volleyball player somewhere. There is a line, a genetic line that has athletes in their families, and it's got to be a pretty high percentage.
Off the top of my head, I can think of Texas Tech, the setter, Rhodes. Her uncle played in Major League Baseball. Her dad played minor league baseball, so didn't get to the top level, but her uncle did. Off the top of my head, that's the first one that I can think of, at least as it pertains to the Big 12. Alcantara powers it through the block.
Yeah, Alcantara powers it through that triple block. Again, that's a little bit different, you know, that Cincinnati has not seen. Oklahoma throws up that triple block. She just powered it through for her 9th kill this match.
And it's exactly what we expected, right, Melissa? Not as much in that first set, but sets 2 and now 3, you're seeing much more of that 3-block attack or 3-block defense for Oklahoma.
Yeah, and he talked about that, and, you know, you're seeing it more and more. And it's, you know, as an attacker, you've got, you know, 6 hands up there versus 4, and you're so trained to, with those 4 hands up there, to hit high or hit inside, you know, that middle blocker. But now with 6 big hands taking up all that room, I think Alcantara is doing a really good job of just powering it through that triple block.
What do you think? Should Cincinnati go to a triple block on Lydia Burtz?
I was just about to say, she has really come alive for Oklahoma. She's second in kills for them with 9, hitting .467.
Her season high is 17 against TCU earlier this year.
I think we have our first challenge of the night.
Coach Alvey, I think, is challenging a touch.
Well, it's been a very clean officiated game so far.
I had even had the thought in the second set, we have not seen a challenge.
Good thing you didn't say it.
But I didn't say it because I thought I'm going to jinx it.
Hopefully this one doesn't open the floodgates. Rebecca Karstison, Donnie Goodwin, Lawrence Walden, and Thomas Hensley, today's officiating crew. Now
with that angle, it's a little bit tough to see if there was a touch. The Bearcats seem to think so.
Yeah, Strawback's either counting money or signaling a touch, one of the two. I mean, at this point, with this angle, you're looking for a finger maybe flying back, something to indicate a touch. We have the benefit of hearing. I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be so minimal. And it looks like the call's going to stay. No touch. Point Oklahoma.
Now Alcantara had that one-on-one opportunity, and she tried to hit high. Usually that advantage goes to the offensive player when you have that one-on-one opportunity against a single block.
Oklahoma point. We're tied at 8. No, we're not. It's 9-8 Oklahoma now. Preston through the block.
Now, Caitlin Leffler struggling a little bit with the block. They brought her in because she's a little bit taller to start this Big 12. But the last set, she really started those outside hitters for Oklahoma are really starting to utilize her block. She's got to do a better job of penetrating over the net and sealing that off.
Washington right in the seam and a good dive. Shelton a bit slow to get up. Alcantara.
Great swing by Alcantara. I love how aggressive she is being tonight.
And again, you talked about it earlier, Stephanie. Had that miscue a moment ago, probably should have powered it through rather than look for the high hands. That time just goes right back at the seam again.
Right, she stays aggressive, and that's what her team needs from her, because I think some of the other players are playing a little bit tentative. She has not tipped a lot tonight.
No.
So she is that person for the Bearcats that is maintaining aggressive swings.
Couple subs for the Bearcats. Washington out, Whittakin back in. And Thompson serving for the Sooners. Kimaha with a good punch. Shelton the misfire. We're tied at 10. It's another one there for Shelton. We're seeing a lot more off speed tonight than I think we expected.
Saying a tip like that from the back row, when you're trying to throw it a little bit, it's really hard to score. The distance between your hand and the net is a little too far for that. You have to give a little bit more air under it.
What are you trying for there? Are you trying to tool, or are you trying to push over that front block?
When you're throwing it that hard, you're trying to tool and force it to the floor. You see it more in the front row, because that's a better angle and trajectory for the ball. From the back row, you got to be sneaky about it. You got to look like you're going to crank it, and then at the very end, little lofty tip right over the block.
I would think in that situation you'd want to try to loft it over the block and try to find something in the back.
Exactly.
Well, Preston picks up the slack.
Yeah, nice swing by Preston. Chamberlain does a really good job of getting that ball all the way outside. I mean, she was way over on the right side of the court. Did a great job of getting it all the way outside to Preston. She was able to find that seam.
I'm seeing a lot for Oklahoma, some cut on their ball. Shelton had one, Preston just had one there. It's spinning away from these Cincinnati backline defenders. Oklahoma gets the touch there.
Yeah, nice swing by Shelton. Ball was set inside, a little bit off the net. She just brought that ball right across her body, down the line for her 17th kill this match.
More than halfway to her career high she had against Notre Dame, 30 earlier this year. And the way this match is going, we're going to need at least 4 to determine a winner. Might approach that tonight.
That swing by Alcantara, a little bit mishit on her hand. That ball, you could tell by the way it left the court that it just was a float. You want to see some top spin on that for some good contact.
Well, she does have 10 kills today, the 6th time this year she's in double figures. And they go right back to her. Chamberlain for Shelton. Leffler to Walker.
Great swing by Walker, and it seems like she's quiet tonight, but her hitting percentage is great. She has 5 kills on 12 attempts. No errors.
That was a great decision by Caitlin Leffler. As a setter, you're taught at an early age to watch that block out of the corner of your eye, and they thought it was going to go outside Alcantara, that triple block. She set that ball back with a quick tempo. Abby Walker, open net kill.
Legia Williams had a bit of a decoy there as well with the leap to draw those blockers. You mentioned the hitting percentage for Walker. It's something Molly Alvey has spoken to us about in the past, that they're trying to get Walker to think differently as an outside hitter now. As a middle, you want to aim for that 300, 350 hitting percentage, because it's just a bit of a better ball, more high percentage shot. As the outside, she's telling Walker it's okay to hit 200, it's okay to hit 250, because you're going to get more out of system, and they're just trying to reprogram Walker's brain in that regard.
You're going to get more out of system, and it's just it's different. When you're in the middle, you're real close to the setter, you're hitting the ball. Those balls aren't dug as much when you're a middle hitter. and you're going to get dug as a pin hitter.
Good punch there. Leffler sends it over. Shelton. Hostetler with the good defense, and Leffler cannot scoot it around the antenna. And we are going to a break.
Kept him in that rally, though, with an unbelievable dig.
15-13 at the intermission. The lead in set 3. Peyton Chamberlain is serving for Oklahoma. Nice crowd on hand tonight, and they have been treated to a very good match. A couple of teams trying to snap losing skid. Oklahoma has lost 3 in a row. The Bearcats have dropped the last 4. Shelton gets one of those, as you call it, Stephanie, the paintbrush kill.
She had a little bit of the cut back there. She was coming in, and she cut that ball back down the line, which Cincinnati was not expecting.
See, I thought I saw something earlier. They're cutting everything.
That's right. That's what they call the cutty. It's also talking about the crowd tonight. If there's any confusion why Cincinnati would be wearing pink on Friday, it is a Barbie-themed night, which it feels like every game this year there's been some sort of theme. We've had Taylor Swift, we've had Beyonce, tonight's Barbie.
Hey, you even wore your pink pants. I know we couldn't see them on the air, but
you know, you got to stay true to the theme.
I think the next time, I think we're going to be on camera here at the end of this set, you might have to stand up and show the pink pants.
Just model out the pink pants. Real statement.
Back set by Chamberlain leads to a kill. On the outside, Ellison smacks it down.
That might be her best kill for the night. She really hit that ball with authority.
And it leads to a timeout. Now, you talked about the Barbie night. Bearcat is apparently Ken tonight.
The Bearcat is our Ken.
Yeah, I don't understand all the references, but I do know Barbie and Ken. That much I do know. Well, Oklahoma this season, it's been a down year, 9-15. They've lost 3 in a row, but they've had some very good performances. 73 kills is a program record for a 4-set match. 64 assists against Boise State is a record for a 4-set match. And in a 5-set match, they had 72 assists against Tulsa. So some positives, some silver linings for a down year, just 2-12 in the Big 12. As Aaron Mansfield said, losing is hard, but some things to build on going into his second year next season.
Yeah, you can really see the confidence building just in this match. You know, they struggled a little bit in the first set. Again, he said it looks very reckless out there, but it's paying off just in this match tonight. They've doing a really good job. They've got 48 kills in the middle of this third set. Cincinnati only has 30, but as they get more experience, they've got a pretty young team. As they get more experience and build on the end of this season through the spring, it's really going to pay off next year.
And he made a point to say in the spring they only had 8 players. You factor in the players that transferred out, the seniors that graduated, the freshmen not being on campus yet. They only had 8 players in their spring season. They couldn't even do a lot of 6-on-6 kind of things. So you mentioned this system that takes a year to implement and finally feel comfortable with. They're only about 3-4 months in because they didn't start really learning it as a team until August. Shelton dented the floor.
Wow. We talked about a swing, and I think that was it. She had that split in the block. State of Washington wasn't able to get outside. She just hammered that ball. Her 20th kill of this match.
That's, I think, that human highlight reel kill we've been waiting for.
Yeah, wow, that was impressive.
Maybe that's the human highlight reel kill. She smacks that one.
That kill like that looks like it deflated Cincinnati a little bit. It's going to take a good pass and a powerful swing by a Cincinnati attacker to get them back in this.
Well, they're trying to find their footing with that dented floor over there.
Yeah, Vivian Campbell came into the game at setter. But I don't think it's all about the setter. You know, with Caitlin Leffler, you're just trying to find something that's going to work. I think it all starts off with that first contact in Cincinnati for the last several points. has really struggled serve receive, and it's just allowing Oklahoma to do anything they want.
And it's the defense, too. I mean, Shelton had an uncontested look. Even there for Lydia Burtz, that's a one-on-one. Where's that other player coming over to help? There's some help. Walker gets them back in the scoring column. That breaks a 7-0 run for the Sooners.
Saying Walker even passed that ball and serve receive, pass to attack. Something you don't see often from an opposite hitter.
Burtz, another kill, her 11th.
Yeah, Burt's having a really nice night. 11 kills, only 2 errors, 18 swings. She's hitting 500 in this match.
Burtz's sister also plays volleyball at North Greenville and Anderson. Glendenning hits the antenna, and it is a Sooner point. Leffler is back in there to set, and Washington continues to do what she does. Another kill.
It all starts with a pass, and that's what Cincinnati needed. They needed a good pass, be in system, and Zeta Washington was able to put that ball away.
Yep, just go back to basics. They have to get that first contact up to the net, allow their setter to use all her offensive options.
It's an awkward dig for Kimaha, and I think it surprised those front row players.
She got that ball up though.
I mean, that was a perfect pass. It was right on target. I don't know, setter coming from the back row. I think she may have been, way back on defense, wasn't able to get to it, but that really surprised those blockers up there.
Maybe it was too perfect. Alcantara. Off of Whittick, in and out. Kill for Daly Ellison again.
The Ellison has really started to come alive here in the third set. It has been more of the Shelton Burtz show here so far, but there have been some good swings there.
Yeah, Ellison doesn't get a lot of balls with Preston and Burtz and Shelton, but she does not get cheated when she does get her swings in. That one for Faye is into the net. Still set point for the Sooners and a lot of wiggle room here, up by 7.
So we've seen Harrison come in here for Zeta Washington.
And it is out. Sooners win set 3. 25-17, so that come from behind victory in the second set has given them a bunch of momentum, and they lead it 2-1. It's been the biggest change for Oklahoma here since that middle of the second set.
I'm just seeing, when I think of Oklahoma right now, I'm just seeing confidence. They're hitting a lot harder. Their passing has improved since the first set. They just have an element of confidence right now that they're riding.
Now, as we take a look at the stats here from the first 3 stats, the kills, Melissa, way up for Oklahoma.
Yeah, way up. They're just, I think it started a little bit from the service line too. It's keeping Cincinnati out of system, so they're sending a lot of free balls over, a lot of easy tips, roll shots, and Oklahoma's just running right back into their offense, and they're just putting balls away, and not with authority, not just putting balls away, but they're putting balls away with authority.
And hitting over 300 as a team, the Sooners are. Welcome back courtside. Glad you're with us today. It's been a really good match between these two teams, both trying to break off the schneid a little bit. Oklahoma has lost 3 in a row. Cincinnati has lost 4 in a row. Anthony Mazzini, Stephanie Niemer, and Melissa Lucky. First of all, you got to show the pink pants. Show the pink pants. You can see them a little bit. There they are. Barbie Knight and Stephanie came dressed for the occasion. So what does Cincinnati need to do now? We just talked about what Oklahoma has done well to take the lead. What do the Bearcats need to do to get back and force a 5th set?
I think the Bearcats I mean, I'm thinking of Glendenning right now. She's been a little bit quiet this match, and I think they're used to having her contribute a little bit more. So to get her more involved, I think is really important. And serve receive. Starts with serve receive.
Do you agree, Melissa?
I do. It goes back to basics. Serve receive, and I think they have to serve a little bit harder. I think they're not serving tough enough, and Oklahoma is just staying in system. They're keeping their Cincinnati's blockers guessing. They're getting a lot of one-on-one opportunities at the net, and they're just, hammering the ball.
Well, Alexis Shelton has been absolutely fantastic for Oklahoma. A big reason why they have a 2-1 lead. Alcantara has been that answer for the Bearcats, but Shelton, I mean, another 20-kill performance.
And we were warned about Shelton. We were told by Coach Mansfield that she is, like we've said, a human highlight reel. She's dynamic, she's taking big swings, and they're paying off. 21 kills, hitting .385. Alcantara, 10 kills, .259 for the Bearcats.
Yeah, Shelton's having an unbelievable match. 6 rotation player for Oklahoma, and she started off maybe a little slow, but man, she has picked it up, and she's just putting balls down with authority.
And it was the opposite for Alcantara. She started out with a bee in her bonnet, and now all of a sudden has cooled down a little bit as the match has gone along.
She's cooled down a little bit, but I'm still impressed with her improvement. I'm very surprised with how good she is out of system, which used to be something she was struggling with. But tonight, she's done a really good job taking big swings on out of system sets.
Well, we're going to need at least 4 to determine a winner. Cincinnati hoping it gets to 5. It's been a really good crowd. Friday, Saturday weekend series, a lot of them in the Big 12 have been Thursday, Friday, which makes things a little bit tough, especially on that Thursday night. You play some Wednesday nights in the Big 12 as well, occasionally a Sunday. But overall, I think most coaches we've spoken to, Molly Alvey, I know, mentioned this, they love the travel. In the American, especially, Cincinnati speaking from that perspective, when you're playing Friday, Sunday, 2 different cities, unless you're the home team, that wore on you. Molly Alvey said we've actually given players rest days over the course of the season.
Right, it really helps playing the back-to-back nights because you can offer your team a day off. Where when they were in the American with that Friday, Sunday, unfortunately, probably that Saturday was quote-unquote travel day and their day off.
I'm saying this schedule will end up not being this way in the future. It's just still a kickback from COVID, and this is how teams had to adjust. They had to limit traveling to multiple places in one weekend, so they've done some back-to-backs, and that's going to end up phasing out, just like the super seniors, which with the COVID year.
I wonder, though, with the Big 12 adding more teams again next year, especially towards the western coast with Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado, how that's going to impact travel. Do you keep the back-to-backs knowing that you're traveling all over the place now? I mean, imagine if you go to Colorado, you got to fly down to Arizona State. I mean, that's kind of a gauntlet of a travel schedule. Maybe the back-to-back stay, who knows?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be behind that computer or holding that piece and trying to figure out how to piece that scheduling puzzle together, because you lose Texas, you lose Oklahoma to the SEC, you add those 4 Pac-12 schools, and I mean, that travel is going to be absolutely brutal.
And I have no insight, none of us do, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe next year it stays the same with the back-to-backs until they figure some things out, what might work best. Again, we don't have any insight, but that would maybe be my guess.
Strong start for Cincinnati in the 4th set. We had a big block by Glendenning there, and another point for the Bearcats.
Shelton running start, doesn't matter. Denied by Washington and Leffler.
Yeah, great job. I think they've kind of rotated their rotation a little bit. They have Abby Walker back there serving, and I think, it starts with the serve, and she's done a really good job of being aggressive back there, and it's keeping Oklahoma out of system.
Glendenning, the tap. Shelton, good up by Hostetler. Glendenning takes the ball. Kimaha's there. Shelton off the block, and Oklahoma finally on the board in set 4.
Nice high swing by Shelton. She was dug that first time around by Hostetler, but high hands, a little too high for Hostetler to get that ball.
Yeah, she's such a high flyer. She can really do anything she wants with the ball. She was able to hit high hands off Caitlin Leffler, 22nd kill this match.
The 8th time this season Shelton has had 20 or more kills.
And what's really exciting for Oklahoma is that she's a sophomore, so there is still plenty of time in her collegiate career.
Now, as you mentioned earlier, Stephanie, you're recruiting your own team.
Yes, she is one. She's a player that, I mean, any program would want to hold on to.
And the way she has fit into this system, this high-tempo offense, she is thriving under Erin Mansfield. That's another kill for Burtz.
So Oklahoma sticking with what worked in the beginning of this match is going with Burtz and Shelton.
Yep, they're serving tough, keeping Cincinnati out of system. Cincinnati sends a free ball over the net and gets it put right back down their throats by Burtz.
Now Shelton keeps that one in. She was way off the net, and her 23rd kill.
Everything going Shelton's way. She's doing about everything. She can hit high hands, power through the block. That time a little bit off the net, was able to keep that ball inbounds in zone 5, just on the line.
4-0 run, Sooners. That one is out for Shelton.
Say a player like Shelton, she's going to get her kills. It's just a matter of trying to contain the impact she's going to make.
It's bend, not break.
That's right.
Joust at the net. Leffler almost wins it.
Leffler has been very good at the joust all season long, and the strategy on that is you want to be the second one to touch that ball because you're going to have most of the power.
Thompson dives and cannot curl it around the antenna. That's a really tough one with that stanchion there.
You just find a lot of setters do a really good job at joust at the net, and they know, try to push second because you have all that power.
It's that balance, though, right? Because eventually someone has to commit, and you don't want it falling on your side.
Right, and there have been times where both players will wait to try to be the second, and then the ball just drops.
Yeah. And you just hope that you're standing on the right side.
That's right, yeah. You don't want to be the side where the ball hits the floor without anyone in goal.
Well, some good defense here from Oklahoma, stopping everything. And that is a net violation on Cincinnati.
Julie Whittigan back there had some great defensive plays to keep her team in that rally.
Whittigan in the back row, Oklahoma at the net. And it leads to a Sooners point. Leffler, the long run to track it down, setting up Glendenning from the back row. Shelton powers it through the block, number 24.
Yeah, Cincinnati's block not quite getting out there and sealing their hands over the net. Zeta Washington late getting there. Shelton powers it through the block.
Which for the most part tonight, Melissa, the block for the Bearcats has been very good. 9 blocks as a team tonight.
Yeah, it's been very good. I think, the only part of the block tonight, maybe a little bit, is Caitlin Leffler. She hasn't been able to get up and keep her hands sealed over the net, keep that right hand pushed back into the court. I don't know if it's, just an off night, but she really, really needs to seal off that net.
Alcantara off of Kimaha.
Big swing. I think for the Bearcats, she's the one I am the most surprised with tonight. She just looks like a different player from what we saw in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it was a great set by Leffler. She was up all the way on the right side of the court, was able to get that ball all the way out to the pin for Alcantara.
Great serve by Washington there. Top's been right in the seam between the two Oklahoma Sooners, and that was a difficult ball to pass.
Difficult ball for Melissa to catch, too. She let it go right by.
A little bit too high.
8-8.
Going back to serve for Oklahoma, number 12, Alexis Shelton.
Alcantara blocked, punched around.
Good cover. That one came back fast and bounced off of a couple Bearcats to get his way back over, but not enough. Ellison put that ball away.
Yeah, Ellison, we talked about it earlier. Not a ton of swings, most of them out of system, but it seems like she is capitalized and sent down every ball that's been sent her way.
Yeah, and she's really kind of undersized for being over there. She's got great vertical leap, but she really is undersized playing that opposite position, but she's doing a great job tonight with 7 kills.
5'11" for Daly Ellison, which still undersized, but we've seen shorter outside hitters. I think she just looks so small because the front line for Oklahoma is so big.
Right. I'd like to get up and get next to her. She doesn't quite look 5'11" to me. Maybe that's generous. But, you know, when you see some of these Big 12 teams, you know, come in, they're 6'3", 6'4".
No, us short people, Melissa, we got to round up to the nearest inch.
That's right.
So even if you're, you know, 5'10" and a quarter, you're still rounding up to 5'11".
That's right. That's right.
It's funny. I think with most sports, it's their height on the roster is a little bit different than their height in reality.
Skewed a bit. That's another block for the Bearcats. Legia Williams. That is the 10th as a team for the Bearcats tonight.
Yeah, Legia Williams, she just does such a tremendous job blocking. She's such a physically gifted player. She's got a great vertical leap, and you know, she's kind of the Bearcats Energizer Bunny. That's what she does well, is blocking.
Now, she has not been the focal point of the offense tonight, just 1 kill. But she does have 5 blocks tonight, leading the way for the Bearcats. Burt's the ace.
That was a great serve. The bottom just fell straight out of that and really dropped right in the middle of the court.
Yep, just nice, tight to the net, and yeah, wow, that bottom just fell out.
Her first of the match. Fell right off the table there. Strawback takes charge. Walker sends it home.
Abby Walker. Side out fair.
Nice set by Caitlin Leffler. Good decision to set Abby Walker. She got it all the way back out there to the pin. Huge split in the block. Abby Walker takes that down the line by Taylor Preston's block.
Off of Preston. Didn't handle it the best, but she does send it over. Another one for Walker.
Abby Walker. The back set.
Yeah, another great decision. I think Oklahoma's middle blockers may be cheating out to the outside a little bit.
12 in the 4th set.
Caitlin Leffler sees that, and Taylor Preston is really cheated inside. They're really trying to take that middle and set a triple block on the left side. So that weakness is she's so far, sets her block so far in the court that leaves Abby Walker almost all by herself there in the opposite position.
That's an ace for Kayla Hostetler. Her first of the match tonight.
That's what we're used to seeing from her. She usually gives the Bearcats at least an ace or two every match.
You mentioned she played at Notre Dame Academy. She had more than 500 aces over her last 2 years at Notre Dame Academy. 500. Smacked down by Hannah Pfiffner, who has not played much tonight. That's the first time we've mentioned Pfiffner, part of that freshman class. She was a All-American watch list player at the high school level.
Yeah, again, it all starts with the pass. That was a perfect first contact right to the setter, and Pfiffner puts it away.
Pfiffner had a big role early in the Houston match last time out for Oklahoma, but hasn't played much tonight. Chamberlain, look at that set for Preston. Leffler almost digs it. That was quite the fancy set for Peyton Chamberlain.
Yeah, Coach Mansfield really couldn't say enough nice things about Chamberlain, and I mean, she's showing it tonight. She can set a ball anywhere on the court and put it right where the hitter likes it.
Chamberlain surpassed 2,000 career assists earlier this season. When you look at a setter's career, Melissa, where does 2,000 assists rank in terms of career accomplishments?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, and she's only a junior, so she still has a whole nother season to go, and that just, you know, proves 2,000 career assists, so she started playing right away as a freshman.
Wow, look at those hops for Williams.
So we have not seen a lot from Legia offensively tonight, but that ball was hammered.
And that was another great job by Caitlin Leffler. She's in the back row. That pass was tight. She went up and got that to Legia Williams. The middle blocker didn't realize that Caitlin Leffler was in the back row. She should have stayed down. So Legia Williams had an open net for that powerful kill.
The way she kicked the legs out, too, it looked like the Jordan Brand logo, which the Bearcats are a Jordan Brand school now. Shelton chunks it into the net. Bearcats have the lead, and we have a break. Back and forth. The Bearcats need to win this set to send it to 5. Oklahoma, though, has led for most of this fourth set, but trailing by 1 at the break. The Big 12 standings, Texas already the regular season champs for the 7th season in a row. Cincinnati and Oklahoma picked towards the bottom, but an important weekend trying to move up and finish higher than they were picked. Cincinnati was picked 11th. Oklahoma was picked 10th in the preseason poll.
Great dig by Skrawback.
Good duck by Thompson, but it was touched.
So the Bearcats were committed to calling that touch. Little late reaction there. That ball was going out, but hands touched it first.
We have seen the matrix, though, tonight. We saw it from Skrawback. Didn't count, but Thompson had a good duck down there. Ooh, that's unfortunate for Oklahoma. Aaron Mansfield did talk about that. They had practice last night. They're not used to that low-hanging scoreboard, and it leads to a smack and a kill for the Bearcats.
So that ball would have been that would have been perfect out of system, but that ball was sent too high, right into the scoreboard.
He did talk about that. It was a major concern for the Sooners entering the match.
Yeah, he really did. They're not used to that scoreboard being so low. I guess other places they play, but Cincinnati took advantage of that free ball. And Zeta Washington hammered that ball for her 11th of this match.
Which is crazy, because looking at it from here, it does not seem that low. But I guess on a sky-high, out-of-system ball, you risk that hitting the bottom of that scoreboard.
So if it goes over the scoreboard after hitting if it goes over the net after hitting the scoreboard, that does not count. If it stays on your side after hitting the scoreboard, the ball is still in play.
Correct, like that one. So it stayed on their side so they could still take that third contact over the net.
Yeah, most players, most teams aren't setting them that high. But in a situation like that, on a free ball, you're just trying to run it down. That's when it comes into play.
Like Melissa said, that converted into having to free ball it over, which makes it easy ball for Cincinnati to be in system and set Zeta Washington in the middle.
Now the crowd level has certainly picked up. Cincinnati needs this set to extend it to 5.
I think we were all expecting this match to be a close one because, like we had talked about with the Big 12 conference standing, both of these teams are pretty close to each other in the rankings, and they both want to finish higher of what they were expected.
And both trying to snap a losing skid. Oklahoma 3 in a row, Cincinnati 4 in a row.
And both facing different challenges, with Oklahoma leaving the Big 12.
Yeah.
They want to finish on a high note. Cincinnati first year in the Big 12, and they have something to prove.
Washington.
Wowza. That was major from Washington. I'm not sure Oklahoma knew what to do with that one. That one snuck in there so quickly, and she is all business.
She's got such a quick arm swing. There was that little seam in the block, and she found it and hammered it.
And Carly Skrawback has the ace right after it.
Those good things are contagious. That monster kill from Washington. Great ace by Strawback.
Chamberlain tries to dump it over, and it is contagious. That's a few points in a row, and now a 7-0 run for the Bearcats.
And Glendening getting involved here at the net. She's had 2 big blocks so far this set.
And she was the player that you two both called on to step up here in this 4th set.
Yeah, she really needs to. You can just see that her confidence a little bit is down. She's hitting down the open spot on that one, but she hasn't. Carly Glendening, last year as a freshman, just went all out. She stayed very aggressive throughout the year. You can just tell right now a little bit her confidence is wavering. But against that triple block, she did a great job of hitting it inside that left front's left hand and found that angle for the kill.
8 points in a row for the Bearcats. Here's Glendening off the block. Kimaha cannot track it down.
But Glendening getting herself in a groove, and it all starts with something. So she wasn't involved offensively. She got herself a couple of blocks, and then that translates to a couple of kills. She's really warming up here.
And they need her, so she needs to keep warming up.
Well, they're just hoping she stays warm for what is likely going to be a 5th set. Walker.
Caitlin Leffler doing a great job. They're staying well balanced, like in the first set. They're really keeping that Oklahoma block guessing. Abby Walker going up against a one-on-one opportunity. The middle blocker was late and hammers that ball across court. 10th kill of the match.
Okay, Cincinnati picking on Thompson in serve receive. But she's been doing a pretty good job in getting her team in system. The Cincinnati block has just been unstoppable at the net.
It's now 12 team blocks today.
Yeah, you could just see, I could see Abby Walker. That's what you need to do, is get those hands, seal off that net so that ball goes straight down.
Another great pass by Thompson and a great swing out of the back row for Shelton.
That's the one we wanted to see earlier instead of that push. Just go and rip it.
Yeah, she's definitely talented enough. That was a great swing out of the back row.
Well, she had 30 against Notre Dame earlier this year. Her career high. She has 25 tonight. That Notre Dame match also went to 5, so she could be approaching that career high again. In the 5th set, which is coming up next, Cincinnati rides a 10-1 scoring run to a dominating 25-15 victory in set 4. We thought it would be close, and it's going to be close. On to the 5th, tied at 2. Won the first, dropped the next 2 to Oklahoma, and respond back in set 4. We're going to 5 sets. And through 4, still a big kills advantage for Oklahoma, but a huge block advantage for the Bearcats.
Cincinnati's block really came alive in the 4th set, and now that we're going 5, neither one of these teams are strangers to 5 sets. They've both been put in this situation multiple times this season.
Yeah, and another, huge difference too are the aces. I thought Cincinnati did a really good job behind the service line. They made it really tough for Oklahoma. That's serve receive. That first contact wasn't on point for Oklahoma, and it really benefited Cincinnati in that 4th set.
Stephanie, you mentioned neither team is a stranger to 5-set matches. They've both been in 6. Oklahoma has the advantage, 3-3.
The thing with 5-set matches, absolutely anything can happen. It's a shorter set. It's only to 15. So teams that are a little bit better from 15 to 25, that's going to be an issue in a 5th set.
It's one of those things, you want to be good in 5-set matches, right? You want to be good in that 5th set. But I feel like you'd also rather have more sweeps. You know, it's one thing, it's like you pride yourself on being, we're undefeated or whatever it is in 5-set matches, but I feel like you'd rather be better in sweeps.
Absolutely, yeah. Say, You play 5 sets, that's more jump, that's just more wear and tear on your body. So you want to be good in 5 sets because it's a nice advantage to have, but yes, a sweep beats anything else.
And keep in mind, we're doing it again tomorrow. You know, you go to 5 set on the first day, you're going to be a little worn down. Theoretically, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you come out with more bounce in your step the next day.
Say, everyone here is relatively young enough to bounce back day 2 and play another match.
Relatively, I mean, they're all younger than us. So when you put it in perspective.
Little scramble here for Cincinnati.
Good dive by Sydney Thompson. Shelton with the kill.
Yeah, again, Shelton go up, hitting strong. He was able to hit high hands. Scarback wasn't able to get that ball up for the dig.
26 now for Shelton. Leffler jump set over to Glendenning. Burtz off the block. Walker off of Thompson.
Yeah, Walker's really come on in this 4th, and now the beginning of this 5th set. Still, she hit high hands. There was a little seam in that block. Hammered that ball cross court in her 12th kill of this match.
Little tap, good dive by Leffler, but to no man's land. And a point for the Sooners.
Delivered the kill to put the setter on serve for Oklahoma, number 2, Severland.
Keep in mind, we only played a 15 in the 5th set. Still win by 2.
Great pass by Hostetler.
Push by Walker is off the mark. And especially here in this 5th set, you talked about it, Stephanie, if you're good from 15 to 25, that's an issue. But if you're also a team that gets into runs or falls victim to getting in runs, that puts you behind the 8 ball as well.
Right, it's just the 5th set, it's a short set, and you've got to be good throughout the whole set. The second you start to have distance in the point, it's really tough to come back.
It seems like once it gets to 3, you start to go, oh no. Right now it's only at 2, the Bearcat deficit.
Yes, there is a challenge, and so that's, you know, where this challenge is really important. As we're talking to these games only to 15, I mean, this can make a huge difference in this game. Molly Alvey, when you get in the 5th game, you get an extra challenge. She wins that challenge. Oklahoma that forearm was in the net.
That was Shelton.
Challenge well used.
So she gets to keep that challenge since she won.
Yeah, she had lost one earlier. Burtz blocked. And Burtz cannot do anything with that one.
Washington was so relieved she got a hold of that one. I think it's been frustrating her this match, having Burtz be so effective in the middle. She kind of takes that upon herself. She has some pride in her blocking. So for her to get a stop there, I think meant a lot.
Wow. Shelton. What else is there to say?
Anthony, I think she heard you when you said that earlier in the match, that we haven't seen that wow
For the
factor.
record, I never said she wouldn't get it. I said at the time we hadn't seen it yet.
She has had wow, a couple shots that, yeah, that wow factor. She hammered that ball across court.
That was very impressive. And a very impressive dig there. Preston.
So this is where Cincinnati needs to take advantage. She's in the back row, and that ball there, tipped by Glendenning, that's not what the Bearcats need. They need big swings, and to be a little bit more timid in the attack is not going to work. Speaking of Matrix, had a little back bender there by Whittakin.
Yeah, and that dive by Hostetler would have been the final touch anyway, so Bearcats were doomed.
I think we have a contact issue for Oklahoma. Looks like Preston might have a contact.
They're checking out Preston, the local product.
Oh, wow.
A shiner.
Yeah, when did that happen?
I don't know. I missed it. That is, I wonder on the block, because she's front row, I wonder if the middle blocker's elbow came down. That is a nice little knock on the forehead.
Our producer, Trevor Toll, said earlier in the match, earlier in the set, she got an elbow. So just making sure she's okay. Wow. That one will hurt tomorrow, I'm sure. Hopefully she's okay. Shelton from the back. Glendenning running start. There's that big swing, Stephanie. Washington with one now, but it's blocked. Burtz doing it all today. So here was the elbow earlier. Ooh.
Those darn middle blockers. I always, as a setter, those darn middle blockers are always getting in my way. I always have to push them out of the way.
And that swelled up quickly.
It did.
So hopefully she's okay. Timeout on the floor. Oklahoma with a 2-point advantage in set 5. And again, only playing to 15 in the 5th and final set. Well, around the Big 12, it's been a very good volleyball season yet again. Texas, the regular season champs, and they are ranked number 5 in the country. 19-4, the highest ranked Big 12 team. How about Nebraska? And Melissa, you mentioned earlier there is not a senior on that Nebraska Cornhuskers team.
I don't think there's a senior, and I watched maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, they played at Penn State. Penn State was playing really, really well at the time. Nebraska came back to win in 5, and I think Nebraska was not playing with their best offensive player.
Well, the Big Ten's only going to get stronger. Oregon was number 6. They'll be in the Big 12 next year. Big 12's going to get stronger too, though. Arizona State is in the top 25 at number 18. BYU, one of the newcomers, at number 13. Now, Oklahoma, they're going to go to the SEC. Florida's up there. I mean, volleyball in the SEC, Big 12, and Big 10. Those are really the 3 dominating conferences right now. Western Kentucky in there at number 22, part of that mid-major group. Dayton, about an hour up the road, is in the top 25 as well out of the A-10. Washington out of the timeout, gets the kill.
And that's what I was just thinking earlier. When Leffler's in the front row, there's only 2 attackers up at the net. You have to be able to split the block. So that was good set by Leffler, allowed Zeta Washington to get behind her to be able to split that block and find that seam.
Burtz.
Ooh!
You always know it's a good dig when Stephanie gets excited.
So I almost can't help myself to react, but that was a great dig.
There's a joust.
It converts to a point for the Bearcats.
And that's one of those. Chamberlain standing on the wrong side. Fell on her side. That was kind of a mutual tap there. There was no first or second.
That's just coming down to weight room.
Five. Shelton too long, no touch.
Still a good swing by Shelton. She went after it, just went a little bit long.
I mean, every set that Oklahoma has is quick tempo. Even that back row attack is not a real high ball. It's quick.
Shelton with 54 swings today and still hitting above 300. Oklahoma point.
Side out, Oklahoma.
I think we might be seeing another challenge here from Cincinnati. They called 4 contacts. So Coach Alvey is challenging that the block touch that ball, and it was not for contacts.
Cincinnati head coach Molly Alvey has challenged the previous call on the court.
So that's one.
I think that ball might have bounced on the net, but then maybe into a Sooner hand.
I think it's off Bert's hand. I think it hit the net, but then Bert's. I think she's right. I think it was off the middle blocker, Bert's.
There's a good look at that triple block, though, that Oklahoma has deployed all night outside of the first set.
So it is kind of tough with the video because with the angles, they're so far over, it does kind of look like the ball does brush up against the forearm.
But is it conclusive enough? That's the biggest key. Because as of right now, it's Oklahoma point. Does that video show enough to reverse the call?
Right, call on the floor was 4 hits, so it has to. And the officials are not seeing the same camera angles as we are, so they may have a different angle that shows one way or the other.
That angle right there, it does seem like it goes right into Oklahoma, but it looks like we're going to have a decision here.
Not enough to overturn it.
Yeah, it's tough. We see different angles. It's tough, but I probably would have challenged it too. I don't know. I think I saw a touch on the block.
But now we're basically back to 0-0.
And I believe now Cincinnati out of challenges. Lost one earlier, won her second, and just lost that one.
But you're awarded.
You are given another one in set 5.
Another one, so she might have one. You can never have more than 2. So
correct. So if she lost the first one, gained it back going to set 5, won one to keep it, now lost one, might still be one in the cards. Well, Washington tools that one off the block. 14 kills for Zeta Washington, leading the team.
She's very stoic tonight. Her teammates are getting real amped up around her, but she's maintaining a very stoic face, very businesslike, and she's very efficient.
The total opposite of Legia Williams, her fellow middle blocker.
Great dig by Glenn Denning there.
And you know, we all got to remember that Zeta Washington's a freshman.
Yeah.
She really does not carry herself like a freshman.
Off the block and down from Burns. I beg your pardon, that is Kelsey Carrington.
We mentioned her name a lot early in the match, but we really haven't mentioned her toward the end of this match. That's, I think, her first kill in a while.
Yeah, she's come on in spurts, but started the match, then went away for a while, and now back in set 5.
So it's always nice to have a little bit of depth.
Alcantara started the season as depth, and now a main focal point of the offense.
Ball, Oklahoma point. That ball hit the antenna. Yep, hit the antenna in between the antenna and the blocker's right hand.
I want to talk about sticking it in there with very little room to operate, right inside the antenna.
But it did hit off the antenna, so that actually was Oklahoma point.
So when that replay was shown, it did look like she was given very little daylight to hit the line. She hit it, but looks like the referees called antenna.
Yep, the line judge on the R1 side immediately called that it hit the antenna.
Yeah, and they just took the point away now. They still had it as Cincinnati point. And you see the antenna jiggle there. So it is Oklahoma point. Good catch there, Melissa. See you wear the glasses. out of the reach of Leffler and Glendenning. And now you're getting to the point in the 5th set where even a 2-point advantage is crucial.
And that's why I think Coach Alvey is calling a timeout here to regroup, try to end this run for Oklahoma.
Still has one left. It's a 3-0 scoring run for the Sooners. Well, if they come back to win this match, they lost the first set. They were down 18-12 in the second set. They came back to win that one. They more or less dominated set 3. They get smoked in set 4. I mean, you want to talk about peaks and valleys, ups and downs. It's been quite the match for both teams, but especially Oklahoma if they come back and win this.
But that's the luxury of volleyball is, you know, volleyball is one of the only sports that, okay, you can get smoked in a game and still be able to come back and win the match. And I think, you know, the key momentum shift was that middle of that second set, Cincinnati was in the driver's seat. They were up 18-12, and they couldn't put it away. And then I think, you know, then they went in kind of lackadaisical in that third set. Cincinnati has used both their timeouts, so they have no timeouts left in the remainder of this 5th set.
Well, if you've enjoyed this one, make sure to come back again tomorrow, 6 o'clock on the Big 12 Now on ESPN. Cincinnati and Oklahoma for the rematch and the second and final match of the series. Well, the block for Oklahoma coming alive at the right time. Taylor Preston.
And again, I think Leffler needs to see where that block is because Preston pushes way inside. They were able to get a nice, solid double block on Legia Williams. Either she needs to swing behind the setter and maybe hit a slide, which that's not her strength, or set that ball outside Alcantara.
Great swing by Alcantara out of system. She had a triple block on her, and she was able to get that ball through. This is an important serve for Cincinnati. Oklahoma still has Shelton in the back row. They want to try to keep her there as long as possible.
It's a tough first contact. Leads to a Cincinnati kill. Abby Walker.
Again, Abby Walker having a tremendous evening. That's her 14th kill of this match, still with no errors, hitting 500 in this match.
So just like we were talking about with Cincinnati taking that timeout to end the Oklahoma run, now Oklahoma is doing the same thing. They're trying to end that Cincinnati run.
10-9, Sooners still in the driver's seat, needing 5 points to win the match. Again, Oklahoma 3-3 in 5-set matches, but 2-7 on the road. Bearcats 2-4 in 5-set matches and only 4-7 at home. Both teams trying to snap a losing skid. Something has to give tonight. However this game goes, it's been a fun match regardless.
Yeah, it really has. Some tremendous blocking by Cincinnati, and then Shelton has just been outstanding for Oklahoma.
Oklahoma with 1 timeout, Cincinnati with none. Oklahoma has challenges at their disposal as well if they need it. They have not issued a challenge at all yet tonight. Chamberlain back set, Carrington off the shoulder, and it falls.
That is a dig kill. Right off the shoulder of Scrawback that flies over the net and lands without a Sooner touching it.
Wow, that's her 2nd kill of the year.
I mean, that was a great swing by Carrington, but oh my gosh, an even better dig by Scrawback. Wow.
And then Carrington gets cheeky on her end with a little tap. That's impressive. You don't see that too often. Good response from Kelsey Carrington, but the attention, of course, going to Strawback. That's one where I think the law of averages even out. For all the digs that she has that don't lead to kills, she gets one by herself. Blocked, but out.
Right now we have a game to 4. Tied 11-11. Could not be any closer.
Make a wish.
Yep, Abby Walker again. Great swing, a little bit of off balance. That set was a little bit off the net, but she was able to use the block. 14th kill of this match.
Look at Chamberlain get under that ball, but Shelton could not push it over.
That ball was set a little low. She wasn't able to get a swing on it, so she tried to do one of those strong throwing tips. Just threw it a little bit too long. That back corner is a great idea down the line, but just had a little bit too much on it.
Bearcats have the lead. Shelton, yes. Just not rattled at all.
And at this point in the match, we know who they're going to, but they've got 2 of their hottest hitters front row right now.
Yeah, so Legia had to stay and commit to Burt's, and she was not able to get out the outside, and Shelton just hammered that seam.
Walker hits the seam for the Bearcats.
Speaking of hot hitters, Walker has been on fire for Cincinnati tonight.
And she's pounded some balls, and she's taken some off. Like that one, she didn't pound it, but she found that open spot on the floor. 16th kill.
Shelton took a little bit off that one. And on the flip side, Walker did the same.
Washington, it's popped up. Back to Shelton again and deflected.
Shelton number 12 on the left side with the kill.
Yeah, Shelton's just about done. About everything. That time she hit high hands of Abby Walker. Caitlin Leffler wasn't quite able to get that ball up.
29 kills, 1 off her career high. Glendenning running start, cross court, it's out. Set point and match point for Oklahoma.
All starts with the pass. Carly Glendenning is the front row attacker, and they seem to be picking on her a little bit when she's in the front row.
Walker.
Everything Walker is touching is turning to gold. It feels like anything she swings at, it scores. And that ball, she didn't even hit with force. She took some off, and it just went straight down the shirt of an Oklahoma Sooner.
Yeah, and I think, that just shows we haven't seen this team play in a few weeks, and she's really developing into a nice player there in the opposite position.
Shelton blocked. Cincinnati with the advantage.
Carly Glendenning may be struggling a little bit on the offensive side, but she has really, really improved her block into this sophomore year. You can just see her seal off that net for that stuff block.
McNeese, tough first contact.
This is where the Bearcats really have to use this ball.
That's a tough collision, and Shelton is the one to go down.
Looks like it might be an ankle there.
Oh no, not for Oklahoma. That is their big offensive option. 29 kills today. Good to see her pop right up, but struggling to put weight on that left leg. You hate to see that at any time, but right at the end of a match like this where she has played so well, you're down by a point, she is your go-to option. Hopefully she's okay for tomorrow and for the rest of the year, but kind of deflating at the end of this match.
Yeah, it really is, and I've always worried as a player, as a coach, broadcaster, you're watching this game, and that ball was set really, really tight.
With that triple block there, she just got tangled up with a couple other legs.
Yeah, that's what you always worry about when that ball is set real tight on the net is, you know, knees, ankles, a lot of feet, a lot of legs coming down right in the same spot.
So now they need to decide what happens here because you blew it dead in the middle of a point. Is it a replay point? Is it a win for Cincinnati? Is it a point for Oklahoma?
I think Shelton, she's doing a little agility on the sidelines. I think she's coming back.
Want to talk about a turnaround?
I know in some other sports, you know, if a player goes down, trainer comes out onto the field, they have to come out for one play. I don't know what the rule is, you know, the NCAA for volleyball.
As of right now, Mele Koral Blagojevic was the substitute. Right now they're just holding hands. So Shelton does come back in.
But I think, to your question, Anthony, I would think that ball would have been a replay.
Yes. Because
it was still in progress. They would just have to play that point over.
Well, right now, Molly Alvey has the green challenge card. We speculated that she had one more after she lost one earlier. So is she challenging something from earlier in the point, which would maybe make this whole situation null and void?
I don't know if she saw something, if the ball, I don't know if it's the rally and the ball was down. Or,
maybe a net contact?
Or maybe one of the Oklahoma blockers touched the net.
And this is where it's communication between the players and the coaching staff. They're telling her what they see and what they felt on the court. So communicating back and forth to make, it's almost a group challenge decision. You do see the net bounce a little bit. I'm just trying to figure out when all that happened.
I mean, because she hit the ball, Zeta hit the ball off high hand, so I don't think it was the ball that hit the net, but it very well could have been somebody on Oklahoma on their block.
I don't think you can call this a point either way, because if the official blows it dead, that's their discretion. But see, the net there is moving, so I wonder if there was some sort of net contact.
Say, regardless, this has almost been an intermission time.
So they are challenging in the net, and they are looking at that.
Yeah, it does look like
she
Shelton
did on her way down
into the net there.
But now you're wondering, though, Shelton goes into the net, play gets whistled dead. That doesn't impact the rest of the play. There was never another ball over, nor another ball coming back, because the whistle got blown.
It's a weird call for sure.
It is, and I think it was before, I mean, she came down into the net before the play got whistled dead, so which comes first?
But then there was never another ball going back over to impact the rest of the play. There wasn't another Cincinnati attack where the ball hit a net that was already moving. You know what I mean? It's like Stephanie said, an interesting call.
And I think it's going to be controversial either way.
Yes.
I think there's going to be a side that is very unhappy with the call that's made.
I know she got hurt on that play, but she did come down into the net. And so my opinion is I think she should be called into the net because she was in the net before the play was called dead.
The big X factor, though, is the play was whistled dead. There wasn't a continuation that would have impacted, would a jiggling net impact the rest of that play? We don't know because it was called dead.
And they're going to replay it. Challenge did not go through. Cincinnati still has the advantage here. They're up 15-14.
I feel bad for Coach Alvey. I think there were a couple her challenges that maybe should have gone her way.
And keep in
It's just
mind,
unfortunate.
for Shelton, it gave her that much longer to rest that ankle.
Great dig by Hostetler there.
Washington ends it after all of that. A gritty win for Cincinnati, ended by Zeta Washington.
Ended by Washington, but that dig from Hostetler, that was amazing there out of the middle back. Kept that ball alive.
Yeah. Hostetler started, I think, the match a little slow defensively, a little step slow, but wow, what a dig by that freshman.
Oklahoma appeared to have it in their grasp, up 2-1. Cincinnati wins the last two.
Look at that, she had an open net, and Hostetler dug that ball perfectly.
And again, that stoic look. Great win for Cincinnati. Well, we'll have Alyssa Alcantara here in a moment to join us now on the Big 12 on ESPN. Just an absolutely fantastic match. Took 5 sets to determine a winner, and in the end, Bearcats come away victorious. We're joined now by Alyssa Alcantara. Alyssa, 13 kills today. This is your senior weekend. How good did it feel to show out when you're going to be honored here tomorrow?
It felt honestly so incredible because we've been struggling a little bit, but we took out this win at home. We're so ecstatic to be here.
So what has changed in your game? You know, last year you got on the court a little bit, unfortunately a couple injuries, but you were just playing with so much confidence. What changed?
Honestly, I feel like just the connection with the setter and just doing a little more extra reps and just having everyone behind me supporting me just makes it feel a lot more better and more comfortable.
You mentioned you guys had been struggling, but you were on the road, a lot of ranked opponents. How good does this one feel to finally get back in the win column? You hadn't been home in more than 2.5 weeks either.
Yes, it feels incredible. Like I said, it feels so good. As a team, we've been waiting for this. We've been hoping for a win. We just love it. We love each other so much. We just want to keep winning.
And you know, to end senior day tomorrow, you know, how does that feel to you? Is, you know, has it hit yet? I'm a senior and this is it?
It honestly has not hit yet. I know I'm going to be very emotional tomorrow. This team is so crazy. Like, we love each other so much. It's just been a long ride. I've been here for 5 years, so, well, I've been in college for 5 years, so it's just ready. I'm ready.
Well, the good news is even after tomorrow, you still have a couple of more matches after that, so you don't have to get all teary-eyed yet. But congratulations on a great night tonight, and best of luck again tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Alyssa Alcantara with a big match today, 13 kills. Abby Walker had 17, Zeta Washington had 15. Oklahoma played absolutely fantastic. Tip of the cap to the Sooners, but a really gritty win for the Bearcats tonight.
Yeah, you know, gritty win. They could have laid down and died after, you know, that middle of that second set, you know, it being up 18-12. It's just so demoralizing when you lose a set after being way up like that. But I'm so glad that Alexis Shelton also, that injury could have been bad, but I'm glad to see her back on the floor.
Yeah, 29 kills for Shelton to lead the way for the Sooners, but not enough today. For producer Trevor Toll and for Stephanie Niemer and Melissa Lucky, I'm Anthony Mazzini. Bearcats winners today in a 5-set match, and we'll do it all.